Hi, welcome to Nave Pegos dredging project in the Ria Formosa in the Algarve in Portugal. In the previous video we showed you the dredger actually loading the split hopper barge, which was designed by Alistair Hunter and built by Nave Pegos in their own yard. The drop point is approximately 2 miles offshore, but first we need to navigate 6 miles of inland waterways, which will take us out to the ocean entrance, and then we'll go out to sea for approximately 2 miles, and then the barge will open up and drop its payload. You can see the Nave Pegos yard in the background there. That's where the boat was constructed. And the dredger is on the left hand side, which is in the previous video. This vessel was especially designed for Nave Pegos by Alistair Hunter, who's a marine architect in the UK. It needed to fulfill some very unique requirements. Fully laden, it only has a draft of 2.1 meters, with a payload of approximately 200 ton. It also needed to be very manoeuvrable to navigate these narrow channels which you can see here. Now that we're underway, we'll be taking a 6-mile trip down to the ocean, and you'll actually see how narrow the channel is at some points and the manoeuvrability that is needed to manoeuvre between the small fishing boats that are moored along the Ria Formosa. As you see us do this hard turn here, you can actually see how stable the payload is. This mud is very dense. It weighs 1.7 ton per cubic meter. And in the distance there you can see the old dredger that used to carry about a sixth of the payload that this is able to carry. Here we are on the tight channel I was talking about. Lots of local fishing boats and pleasure boats moored either side. It is also very shallow at some points, where the vessel has a very minimal clearance over some of the bars, and this is why the channels are needing to be kept clear. You can see the old city of Faro in the background there. These waterways have been used by commercial craft for the last couple of thousand years, and vessels have been coming here predating the Roman occupancy. At this point we're actually in one of the shallow areas. I believe we only have a draft of just under 3 meters here, so we actually only have a clearance of about half a meter at this point in tide. Now that we've got to the wider part of the channel here, you can see Faro's dock in the background there. This trip takes about 3 hours altogether, and we're normally averaging about 6 to 6.5 knots going down and back. We're having to punch the tide in both directions as we need to leave before high water and also return just after high water. There is a good navigational system all the way up to Faro. The voyage passage is marked clearly, day and night. The Ria Formosa is a very beautiful place. Not only is it a designated nature reserve, it also has some of the best beaches in the whole of Portugal. Some are completely deserted, miles upon miles of just open sand with no people, and there are a few down towards the airport which have a thriving tourism business. The entrance that we leave through is next to Calatra Island, which has the lighthouse and is also inhabited. The lighthouse can be seen from the ocean for about 15 miles. The entrance to the Ria Formosa is through this channel. On spring tides there can be quite a fast current running through there. You can see the beautiful beaches in the distance there. You've got miles upon miles of deserted beaches. Just as we go through the entrance here, we get a little bit of swell, small chop, but as you can see the cargo still stays perfectly still. It's a very good hold for this type of mud. At this point we still have 2 miles to go, where we'll go out to our drop coordinates, and then the hydraulic rams will open the hull and drop the cargo. After about 20 minutes of being on the ocean, we actually get to our drop coordinates, and in a minute the hydraulic rams will be activated and the hull will open. And because we're only carrying mud, the hull will only need to be opened a few degrees for it to just slide out. And then we'll start up the 2-inch diesel saltwater pump, which will hose down any mud that is stuck to the side. I can imagine this spot becoming a good fishing ground in the next few months, as the fish get used to having a lot of worm and clams dumped on their doorstep. Now that the vessel is ready to open the hull, we've slowed right down, nearly to the point of stopping. Just the last pin to undo. And now the hydraulic rams will be activated, and you'll see all this mud disappear in the matter of seconds. And now the rams are being activated. The hull starts to open and the whole lot disappears. "5 hours of digging vanished in a couple of seconds." And now that the mud has gone, the hull closes up, leaving a small gap at the bottom, allowing for the crew to hose down the compartment and clear any stuff that's stuck to the side. And the vessel gets underway, allowing a bit of water to whip up into the compartment and flush out any of the loose mud still left. And now we'll start the trip back up the Ria Formosa to Faro, to the digging ground. The plans for this vessel are available for sale. I've also put some links below this video in the description to the website, and also some other useful information. The previous video, there's a link to that as well. And as we come up the channel, you can actually physically see some of the sandbars here. This is just before we get to the outer moorings of Faro. Some of the larger sailboats anchor here and have moorings, but there is a sandbar just below it. We're actually going to moor up alongside the old dredger that used to be used to keep this channel clear, and you will physically see the difference between the old cargo bay and the new cargo bay. It's a totally different payload. And there you go, you can see the difference in the actual cargo department. As I said earlier, it only carries about a sixth of what this new dredger is capable of. And there you go. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, and please remember you can see all the links to the previous video and any other useful videos that we have. I've put links below. Thanks very much indeed for watching.